Now at 6, with just weeks to go before the Tyson plant in Noel, Missouri shuts down, former and current employees speak out. Plus, a global food producer looks to inject millions of dollars into a Joplin plant, creating dozens of new jobs. And Webb City will soon welcome a brand new golf driving range.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Time is running out for hundreds of McDonald County, Missouri families struggling with options as their employer prepares to close. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. More than 1,500 workers will lose their jobs when the Noel, Missouri Tyson plant closes in less than 2 months. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to 2 current and former workers who shared their emotions and concerns.
Jimmy's Harper's family is one of the many impacted by the closure of the Tyson's plant in Noel. She will be affected not only emotionally.
A lot of them are like family. I'm going to miss a lot of them.
But also financially.
I've been struggling ever since. My son's the only one working right now, and I can tell you it's been very stressful on all 3 of us.
After working in the plant for almost 3 years, she decided to quit only a day after the closure announcement.
I want to leave on my own terms. I don't want to leave with Tyson basically pushing me out the door. I want to remember everything the way it was.
David Handy is another Tyson worker impacted by the plant closure. In his household, not only does he work for Tyson, but his wife and son do as well. He remembers how it was arriving home after the day they learned their life was changing.
It was shocking. It was definitely a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of decisions were instantly put in front of us that we had to make, life-changing.
According to the former and current Tyson's employees that we spoke to, the company is offering $1,000 for those who choose to continue working at the plant until its closure in October. David and his family decided to stay until the very last day, but not for the reason.
I love Tyson's. I love working there. I love the people. I built a home there. It's no other place like it in the world to work. The people there are amazing.
However, he understands those who choose to leave earlier.
That's 1,500 people that are going to be looking for jobs, so they jumped the gun and went out and got jobs right away.
John Newby, president and CEO of the McDonald County Chamber, is optimistic about the future of those leaving Tyson.
If they're patient, they play their cards right, and they'll find something that's comparable to what they make. And so our hope is that we can help them do that.
Looking for what the future has in store, David and Jamie certainly hope the Chamber of Commerce's predictions are right. Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The former and current employees also say the company is bringing in other Tyson facilities to talk to them and get the workers relocated. To support these and other families who are looking for jobs, the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce is organizing another career fair. That's going to be on September 28th. General Mills looks to expand its footprint in Joplin in a big way. The leading global food manufacturer plans to invest $48 million and create 47 jobs at its frozen dough plant in the process. The company's expansion will increase its manufacturing and packaging capacity. Construction is underway and is scheduled to be completed in early 2024. Another nice day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, definitely a lot better than what we've had over the past 2 weeks across the region. Temperatures pretty good for us today, upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but the humidity hasn't been that bad, so it actually feels pretty decent, and most of us are still sitting near 90 at this point in time. We'll slide back through the 80s into the 70s, eventually into the mid 60s later on tonight. Most of us pretty quiet. You can see a couple little showers in our far western counties, but most of us are going to be on the quiet side as we go through the evening hours as this weak little wave kind of slides through. Dropping south, bigger national story. We have Hurricane Idala, which is a Category 2 and turning off toward the northeast and will make landfall during the daytime hours on Wednesday. So we're going to have more on this and our week's weather coming up here in just a bit.
See you soon. A Cherokee County court sentences a Baxter Springs man for a child sex crime. Bradley Shoemaker gets a little more than 16 years in prison for sexual acts with a child under the age of 14. Happened during the winter of 2019. The sentence comes after Shoemaker pled guilty to the charge earlier this summer. Fire in an apartment building in Coffeyville, Kansas leaves 2 people in critical condition. Firefighters rescued 1 female victim from a bedroom of the Sunrise Apartments during the fire yesterday afternoon. Another victim apparently jumped from a second-story window. The 2 victims were treated at the scene, then flown to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a higher level of care. Staggs Financial Services held a discussion about long-term insurance at Joplin Senior Center. The owner of Staggs Financial Services, Stephanie Staggs, explained the importance of long-term care and understanding the policies. Long-term care covers daily activities such as bathing, mobility, and more. Many people assume that long-term care is included in their life insurance, but that's not always the case. Not understanding insurance policies could lead to more problems.
What I find is a lot of people in their 50s who are healthy think that I have plenty of time to figure this out. Unfortunately, people who are in their 50s, 14% of them, they don't qualify for this coverage. And then once they get to be in their 60s, again, according to nationwide data, that goes up to 25% that the underwriter is going to deny and say that you can't qualify for this. I'm so sorry. I wish I could help you.
Staggs says it's best to review policies to make sure you're getting what you're paying for. A new golf driving range is in the works in Webb City. Tee Time held this tee-off as a groundbreaking ceremony. The owners of Tee Time, Jonathan Johnston and Kelly Grantham, are locals who said they want to help build their community. Tee Time is planning to have a 215-yard driving range, pickleball courts, and a full bar.
You know, there's been some talks of stuff coming into Joplin before, but not a lot of follow through with that, and so we wanted to actually follow through with it and do it, which was nice.
Guys, I'm incredibly impressed with their patience, their perseverance. This is a big project. This is a huge undertaking. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of conversations. They've stuck with the process the whole time, and I'm very proud of them.
Tee Time is expected to open late next spring. Coming up, shoppers in Arkansas deal with inflation frustration over the price of groceries. Plus, John's going to take a look at week 1 of brand new season of football for the Gorillas.
You know what I'm...
Global supply issues continue to plague shoppers and grocers right here in the 4 states, you and me. Reporter Ian Russell turns to an economist and a merchant in Arkansas for possible solutions.
Whether you love or hate grocery shopping, one thing is clear. Prices are, once again, going up.
Frustrating would be a good word.
Steve Good, like all of us, has seen those prices rise and fall over the past few years, but he's got a unique perspective as executive director of the Arkansas Groceries and Retail Merchants Association.
As I talk to retailers across the state, I think that they're seeing it all over.
We're in a better spot now than a few months ago, he says, but still prices are higher than this time last year.
And so you're going to see around probably 5.5% inflation by the time the year shakes out.
So what's causing this? Why are prices so up in the air? Well, there's a lot of reasons, some close to home and some halfway around the world.
It's really just global supply factors that are a big part of it.
Jeremy Horpdahl is an economist at UCA. He says the price of ingredients in the food we eat were high the past 2 years thanks to shortages and supply chain delays.
As the price of things like wheat stabilizes, then the price of the things we buy that are made with that are going to see those prices stabilize too.
Horpdahl says the Federal Reserve and their increase of interest rates also steadied prices.
I think the Federal Reserve Bank is at a point where they're trying to decide, have they done enough? And they got to kind of wait and see, which means we probably won't see any big declines coming up in the next few months.
Good says it's a hard line to walk, finding ways to lower prices for customers while making ends for the business meet. With prices looking like they'll hold where they are, he says there may be some hope coming soon.
But as we trend into the fall, it looks like there are deals coming for maybe retailers to buy from manufacturers that will hopefully net a little bit lower food costs for consumers.
One of the factors for higher wheat prices is the ongoing war in Ukraine, which will soon enter its 19th month. A little bit later, the Pitt State Gorillas prepare to kick off their brand new football season. John's going to have details for us in sports.
Plus, we're going to drop south and check out the tropics with a pretty major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Temperatures right around 90 for a high, but the humidity wasn't that bad, which is always nice to see, especially after the weather that we have encountered over the past couple weeks. It looks great outside. Here's a nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, and we've had mostly sunny skies throughout the daytime hours. It's hot, but at least the humidity is not too high. It's 92 Independence, 88 at Grand Lake, Pittsburgh 87, and Neosho Carthage is sitting at 88 degrees. And if we look at our humidity dew points a week ago, we're into lower 80s, which was off the chart. We're sitting into lower 60s. So if you think about lower 80s, it's above that soupy scale. We're kind of sitting in that not bad to a little bit sticky range, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the next couple days. 89 outside visibility looks good. Northerly winds 5 to 10 through the evening. If you are going to be outside, we slide back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into the 60s a little bit later on tonight. We do have a few little cumulus clouds rotating through and a couple little showers popped up in our far western counties. But overall, the entire Central Plains is looking pretty good. Just this weak little wave kind of sinking through. Let's drop south. Gulf of Mexico. Here is Hurricane Idala, which is just southwest of Tampa, Florida. Moderate hurricane at this time, should become a major hurricane as it strengthens at least into Category 3. It's a 2 right now. Sustained winds at about 100 miles per hour. It's going to track north, jaunt toward the east. So here's 2 o'clock in the morning. The heavier rain bands working into Florida, making landfall early tomorrow morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. It should be a Category 3, then tracks across parts of Georgia, weekends, and eventually back out to sea in the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the bigger national story of the week. For us, pretty quiet. We are tracking an upper level low late this week that is going to inch forward or north and get near us by the time we head into Sunday, which of course is the holiday weekend. With it, we may get a few scattered showers in here Sunday into Monday. Besides that, our weather is pretty quiet as we go through the next several days. Let's step through time for you tonight. We drop back mid 60s, so a nice start, nice northeasterly wind for us tomorrow into the mid 80s by noon. Very similar to what we saw today. Most of us topping out near 90, 89 Lamar, 90 in Miami, Parsons up to about 94 degrees. Tomorrow night, slip back again, lower 60s for overnight lows, and then Thursday, a little bit cooler, most of us into the mid 80s for afternoon highs. Then we start a warming trend toward the weekend. 64 to start, 86 by 4 p.m. High temp around 89 for us tomorrow. 86 on Thursday, 89 on Friday. So very nice temperatures all week. And then a little bit hotter as we get into the holiday weekend with a few pop-up showers Sunday into Monday. But overall, Labor Day weekend shaping up pretty nice.
It wouldn't be Labor Day if there weren't some heat to continue.
Of course, it's still summertime.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, the Chiefs cut their roster down to 53 players, and Pitt State football addresses the media ahead of their season opening game on Thursday. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Two days, that's all that separates us from the beginning of Pitt State football's defense of its MIAA title. The fourth-ranked Gorillas open the season this Thursday night at home at Carney Smith Stadium against Washburn. Now, the Ichabods have historically played PSU very tough. Last year was the first time the Gorillas have beaten Washburn since 2016, after also taking down every other MIAA opponent last season. The Gorillas know they'll be getting everyone's best shot.
I don't know if you can add any more pressure to us than we already put on ourselves, to perform at a high level regardless of ranking. Those rankings were based off of really probably what we did more last year than anything else. And we know that we have a big target on our chest. we feel like we always do here anyway when any team comes in and plays us here at Kearney Smith Stadium.
Washburn's, they're really tough. The past 2 years, they've thrown a lot kind of at us. Their D-line is really fast. They move really well. They like to stunt and move around. So it throws challenges at our O-line and kind of in the pass protection and the run game as well. So they'll be tough.
In professional football, today is the 53-man roster deadline, so the Chiefs have to cut or release more than a third of the 90 players that played for them in the preseason. A couple moves of note today by the defending champs. Justin Ross, a wide receiver who missed all of last season with a foot injury, he makes the roster, and it's the first time in the Andy Reid era that Kansas City has rostered 7 wide receivers to begin the year. Now, Chris Jones not listed on the 53-man, still under contract with the Chiefs though. Blaine Gabbert makes the team as the only quarterback besides Pat Mahomes after they cut Shane Bichelle. High school softball in the area continues today. Several teams playing for the second consecutive day. One of those, Joplin, who beat Kickapoo 14-4 at home yesterday. Eagles trying to build on that performance this evening. Road trip over to McDonald County. The Mustangs entered this contest with a 1-2 record. They're coming into this one after falling to Ozark in extras last night. We'll give you the final score from that one tonight at 10. Cassville and Nevada also in action after both having played yesterday. Wildcats hoping to bounce back from an 8-4 loss to Carl Junction. Nevada hoping to take down Cassville after beating Webb City on the road last night. And again, we'll give you the final score from that one tonight at 10. Carthage and Seneca nearing the finale of that one into 7th. Seneca is hoping for its first win of the season. They took a 1-0 lead. The Tigers struck for 3 runs in the top of the 5th though and really didn't look back. Shelby Hegwer and Lottie Youngblood led the way getting things started with back-to-back RBI doubles. Then over to Oklahoma to finish things out. 5:30 start in Miami for Miami and Hilldale. War Dogs take an early 2-0 lead at home before the Hornets catch up. War Dogs answer back with 3 more. Catcher Brooklyn Powell got things started with a 2 RBI double down the line and left in the first. Hilldale answered back and tied it with 2, but Miami adds 3 more. Back to that Pitt State game, though, very exciting on Thursday. I think what a lot of fans, you better not overlook this Washburn team because they're not ranked, but like I said, they've had a ton of success against Pitt State.
Yeah, Pitt State having beaten them last year, but not prior to that for a number of years.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to hear from an area woman soon to turn 105 years old. Plus, Almeida is combating disinformation from China and how AI technology is helping stroke survivors communicate. Those stories, a lot more. It's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. In the meantime, nice night to get outside and enjoy this relatively mild weather.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. We're sliding back through the 80s, eventually into the mid-60s later on tonight. Carbon copy tomorrow. Sunny skies, high temp of 89. A hair cooler on Thursday, and then 90s return by the time we head into the holiday weekend, and a few hit and miss showers, which it's kind of dried out over the past couple of weeks, so we'll need the rain.
For sure, we already need it. Certainly we will by then. Final sports note.
We keep also getting closer to the Chiefs opening day too. I mean, this roster deadline is just another sign of that, and a lot of the guys they bring back familiar faces and also some new names for members of Chiefs Kingdom to know too.
Don't you love it? We have college football coming up this week, NFL coming up after that. Great time of year. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.